You know what, guys? You can't be the CEO of BC Rich if you can't play the guitar. Everyone say hi to Bill from BC Rich. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Around 13 years old, I decided I wanted to be a guitar player. Like everybody else, you had your heroes you strive to be like, whether it be Eddie Van Halen or whether it be Randy Rhoads or Ted Nugent. I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area. I was fortunate enough to have lots of lessons and lots of people to lead me forward and teach me how to play. But I decided to kind of change my path, stayed in the music industry and started doing product development at a very young age, and was fortunate to work with one of my biggest idols, Eddie Van Halen. At Peavey, I was hired to go there and take care of the Wolfgang and 5150 brands, and was able to service Eddie, who was still one of the best guitar players ever to grace us with tone. But besides just developing products at Peavey and other companies, I was just fortunate just to kind of follow the artists that I admired and looked up to the most. So I kind of like was living through those artists vicariously, whether it be George Lynch or Satriani or Eddie Van Halen, or just to see these amazing artists in person and be able to actually sit there and break bread per se with them has been fascinating. I was the vice president of BC Rich for almost 9 years, and then 2 years later I put together with two amazing partners a buying group, and now, you know, after all these years of working retail and being a rep and a product development manager, here I am the president and CEO of what I view to be the best guitar brand in the entire planet.
I've been playing this guitar that you've been just jamming a little bit earlier.
Yes.
This is the Warlock. Is it the Extreme Series?
Yes.
What do you call it?
Yeah, it's the Extreme Series Warlock. We call it the Extreme Series for a multitude of different reasons. One is it's a little bit more streamlined on the cutouts. The Extreme, you know, all has Fluence pickups in them, Alnicos in the neck and the ceramics in the bridge. But this is the Extreme Series guitar, which was, you know, pretty much the flagship of our new launch.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the BC Rich brand is now rebirthed in some way, yeah?
Yes, 100%, yes.
Yeah.
Reinvented. There's 50 years of history, of legacy with BC Rich, and there's fans, they don't like to see you deviate from anything that we used to do. But at the same time, it's like we need to also understand that there's a whole other new level of players. But we wanted to do a couple things different. One is we didn't want to redo everything we used to do, but we wanted to do that and then some. So the Extreme Series, what you're holding, was our first stab into going into the marketplace and doing something to grab a younger player. We're doing both of the old school builds the way they used to be done, both in America and Korea and Japan, and we're doing the same thing for the newer guys up and coming that are looking for the fan frets and the more extreme type of an instrument with kill switches and influences, and we've eliminated having any bolt-on guitars as well. We went back to what our roots were, which was a neck-through body guitar that had incredible neck access. We'll have one guitar that has a bolt-on, which will be a legacy model Gunslinger, and that's it.
This is a Cool V guitar. Is this a USA model, right?
Yeah, that's a USA made.
Do you have to custom order these USA models, or you guys gonna have them on the?
We have some models that are just like your standard. You know, there's really no such thing as standard USA custom shops, but it's like, you know, you have your 50th anniversary models, and then we have your legacy models that were like standard go-bys for those people who, you know, the Mockingbird ST with the Floyd Rose like slash plays, you know, you'll see those, or the Rich B that we call it now, or the bitch guitar, that you'll see those as standards, and then we'll do whatever you can come up with.
The whole point about these guitars is the bridge is a very important part of staying in tune. You use the high quality Floyd Rose.
If it's a Floyd Rose 1000, it's made in Korea instead of being made in Taiwan or China. You know, if it's a Floyd Rose German, it's a Floyd Rose German. The difference in tooling and the quality is night and day. Same with the woods. I mean, you can use maple, but if you use North American maple, it's better than just using maple. We used Natoya, which is just like mahogany, not NATO. People confuse NATO with Natoya. And so when you grab a new BC Rich that's made in Korea versus an old one, it's like there's a noticeable weight difference. But same goes for like your volume pots, you know, using the 500K pots that are higher quality made. The frets steel is American steel. You know, the Grovers. You know, a Grover tuning machine in 50 years from now, if you break it, you get a new one. It's lifetime guaranteed.
Oh, so these Dunlop strap locks, they come standard?
Come standard, yes.
I see. And
all of them come standard. Hip shot bridge, you know, that's a USA made bridge. The custom shop volume knobs, that's obviously, you know, modern fluences with the voicing switch, a pull out switch. When we did the Extreme series, it's not saying that it's a better guitar than the old NJ, but the objective is to build a better version of that guitar.
And when do we expect to see that?
January, yay!
January.
You'll start seeing the NJ's Supremes coming out in January.
Sorry about the mic. Yes. Hey, Bill's got some seriously sick guitar chops or what? Have you seen a guitar CEO play like that before? What made you decide to do the Fishman Fluence on these guitars?
You know, the old NJs for the last like 8 or 9 years had EMGs in them. There's people who love EMGs, who don't like EMGs. And there was a lot of feedback from the marketplace liking the Fluence pickups. We went ceramic in the bridge and Alnico in the neck. I think you can choose that. But we wanted something that worked well for people who plugged into, you know, a naturally aspirated amplifier, not just plugged into a Kemper or a plug-in. You know, that we wanted to have something that people felt. And so we thought it was a really well-balanced pickup. It's proven to be, you know, very successful. We still use, you know, other brand pickups in our guitars. Mm-hmm. But for our active choices on electric guitars, we are using the Fishman Fluences. We think they're perfectly suited for the Extreme series.
I mean, I guess that's the right words, right? You got for a BC Rich brand, you have to say it's Extreme or something.
Technically, we have 3 series of guitars. We have the Legacy, which is, you know, you walk into a shop or you see an old school. Oh, I remember when BC Rich used to make those. Well, we're making that. The Extreme was like new, like we've been talking about in the Prophecy series, is like kind of reaching forward. What are we going to do that's different than all of those things?
You had lessons with Joe Satriani, right, when you were young?
It's called the Beatdown.
The Beatdown?
It was a beatdown. It wasn't a lesson. It was beatdowns.
What happened at the Beatdown?
And so, anyways, we were recording. So I wrote solos when we were trying to work on this album, and I actually was able to bring in some stuff to Joe that we were working on. I was quite young. He basically said, you know, well, why did you play that note? You know, it's like, and I said it was in key. He goes, well, it doesn't matter if it's in key, but why did you play that note? You don't have to pick every single thing. You can say a lot more by playing a lot less. When we took lessons, we weren't into the modes and all the different places and all the different voicings and all the things, and that's the thing that he would beat you down on. You know, make your guitar musical.
So back to the guitars then. You flew to the factory on these new guitar orders, and you worked on every single guitar.
Every single guitar.
That's a lot of guitars.
It was too many. And
how many guitars did you set up for the U.S. market?
I mean, right now, pretty much 80% of them, thousands of them.
Oh my God! I remember you telling me, I'm here setting up guitars.
Yeah, you know, you have to love what you're doing, and I love and feel blessed at what it is that I'm doing. So really, part of it is that for every time we would do a run of guitars at any factory or any plant, I'm always there while we're doing the run. And you go there to be a protector of the brand, because it's not just going there and setting up the guitars, it's actually going to the factories to making sure that before it comes out, that it's good.
You have designed something for the new generation, right?
Yes.
Let me grab this one out. Can you tell me the story about this 8-string here?
We recognized that there was a desire for people to use, you know, extended scale guitars, and there's other types of extended scale besides doing the fan frets. But we didn't want to do just a Me Too guitar. We wanted to play around with some different ideas. We wanted to make sure that the neck wasn't so thin that you lose tone. If it's a little too thin, then it doesn't sound quite as beefy. So it has to be some sonic principles with that. And so this is our first model in an Extreme series. Archtop Shredzilla.
Can you share with us something that happened with you working with Eddie Van Halen? Because we got so many fans here.
The very first time we ever sent Eddie a guitar, and he's like, "Did you play this guitar before you sent it to me?" And I said, "I did. Don't ever send me a guitar like this, and I'll show you when I see you." He wasn't happy about what I sent him. When I went to 5150 Studios, he actually, he helped me understand when you started playing Floyd Roses with the Locky Nut, how you tuned your guitar because you had no fine tuners. And he basically taught me a lesson. He's like, "Look, I tune the guitar, and then I match the strings. I actually tighten the strings really tight, and then I unloosen it, tune the guitar again, then I mash it." And he says, "I mash the strings until it actually works. So I don't have to touch the fine tuners," and it never went out of tune after doing that. Mm-hmm. So he literally will take I literally watched him break nuts because he tights so tight. But he would literally clamp it down, tune it. When he locked it down, the guitar would go out of tune. You would undo it, tune it, lock it down, the guitar would go out of tune. And he would do it like 2 or 3 times to where when you unloosened it, it never changed pitch. So I've always done that with my guitars. I've always mashed the string, tightened it, mashed it, tightened it, and they'll sit on the wall and they'll like come back, bunch of dust and dirt on it later. It's still pretty much in tune. So that's how Eddie would tune his Floyds.
You gotta stretch those strings before you lock those nuts.
Yeah. Totally.
Otherwise, you're just wasting time.
Oh yeah. You shouldn't have to use your fine tuners that much.
This is fun.
Yeah. Next time we'll have to do like you'll teach me some harmony things. We'll like do some harmony like leads.
Thank you, Bill, for coming.
Thank you, Herman.
To hang out here.
It's been like awesome.
And we've been hanging out so many times. We never actually played guitars.
No, I've always wanted to.
He's awesome. So please go check out the BC Rich guitars here.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody, thank you so much. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
From BC Rich. Thank you, Fishman Pickups, for the Fluence Modern. Thank you very much. We're gonna say goodbye.